Life often feels like a constant stream of curveballs, doesn't it?
Yep.
Uncertainty, stress, sometimes just plain chaos.
It really does. And our first instinct is usually to try and avoid it, right? Or just grit our teeth and get through it.
Exactly. We crave stability. But here's a thought. What if that stability isn't always the best goal? What if we could actually, thrive on the unpredictable?
Yeah.
Become stronger because of it?
That's a fascinating question, and it really gets to the heart of something beyond just resilience. People might have heard of Nassim Taleb's work on this.
Right, that's where this idea comes from.
Yeah. We're not just talking about weathering the storm. We're talking about building things ourselves, our businesses, even relationships that actually gain strength from the storm.
Yeah.
We're diving into antifragility today.
Perfect. So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack that. How can we learn to use unpredictability, maybe even welcome it a bit, as an advantage, to see challenges less as scary obstacles and more as, opportunities for real growth?
Yeah.
To become more capable, more confident.
So let's start with the basics. What is antifragility? We know fragile, right? Something that breaks under stress. Think of a teacup.
Right. Easily shattered.
Then there's robust. That's something that resists stress. It endures. Maybe like a big stone block. It just sits there.
Okay, stable but static.
Exactly. But antifragility, that's the really interesting one. It's the quality of actually gaining from disorder, from stress, from volatility, from chaos.
Gaining. So it doesn't just resist, it improves.
Precisely. Things that become stronger, better, more capable when they're exposed to randomness and pressure. The key is that upside, that benefit from the unpredictable.
Okay, let's dig into that core idea a bit more then. It's not just about getting through tough times or staying the same.
No, it's active. It's about actively benefiting when things go sideways. And that requires a pretty big mental shift.
How so?
Well, instead of seeing chaos or uncertainty as this big threat, you need to avoid at all costs.
Which is most people's default, I think.
Absolutely. Instead, you start seeing it as a source of information, of energy, of potential growth. Like fuel.
So the goal shifts. It's not just about building a life or a system that won't break.
Right. Not just aiming for stability or robustness.
But building something where unexpected changes, the bumps in the road, actually make you stronger, more adaptable.
Exactly. They become inputs for improvement. But, and this is really important, it raises a crucial question. Is all stress good? Does antifragility mean just diving headfirst into any kind of chaos?
Good point. Probably not, I'm guessing.
Definitely not. Antifragility isn't about being reckless. It's about exposure to the right kind of stressors.
Like the right kind.
Yes, and in the right amounts. Stressors that trigger an adaptive response, not ones that overwhelm and destroy the system.
Okay, so not enough stress and things get weak, they atrophy.
Right. Think of muscles you don't use.
And too much stress, catastrophic stress, and things break. Irrecoverably sometimes.
Exactly. The art is finding that sweet spot, that Goldilocks zone of stress. Enough to provoke adaptation and growth, but not so much that it causes collapse. Non-fatal stressors.
That makes a lot of sense. Finding the beneficial stress. And, we can actually see this principle everywhere, can't we? Starting with our own bodies.
Oh, absolutely. Our biology is a fantastic example. Think about muscles.
Okay, yeah. Weightlifting, exercise.
Right. When you train, when you apply that controlled load, that stress,
right,
the muscles don't just resist it passively.
No, they actually tear a little bit, don't they? Micro tears.
Precisely. A controlled breakdown. But then what happens?
Then they repair and they come back stronger than they were before.
Exactly. That cycle, beneficial stress followed by recovery and adaptation, that is antifragility in action right there in our physiology.
Wow. Okay, so if our bodies work like that, what about, say, our personal growth, our skills?
It maps directly. Think about learning anything new or stepping outside your comfort zone.
Which usually feels uncomfortable, maybe a bit stressful.
Right. Dealing with difficulties, making mistakes. We often fear that. But each time we navigate a challenge, even if we stumble,
we learn something.
We learn something and we become more flexible, better equipped for the next challenge, the one we haven't even seen yet. You're building what Taleb calls optionality.
Optionality. I like that. Having more options, more tools in your toolbox because you face different things.
Exactly. You're diversifying your personal capability portfolio, you could say, making yourself more adaptable, more, antifragile.
That resonates. And it connects to health too, right? Beyond just muscles, like those hardening practices people talk about.
Yes, definitely. Like gradual exposure to cold, for instance.
Okay, yeah. I tried doing cold showers for a bit. First few days were bracing. Definitely felt
Yeah.
fragile.
Huh? I bet. But what happened over time?
It actually got easier. I kind of started to not dread it. It felt invigorating eventually.
See, that gradual exposure to that small, controlled stressor, the cold water, or maybe just being outside more in different weather, it
Uh,
doesn't make you perpetually sick.
no, quite the opposite, supposedly. Makes you more resistant.
Exactly. Your body systems get a little workout, they adapt. You become more resilient to temperature shifts, maybe catch fewer colds. It triggers a beneficial adaptive response, more vigor, better health.
Okay, that's a great example. Your body learned from the stress. So let's scale this up. How does this apply in, say, the professional world? Business, finance.
Well, in business strategy, an antifragile company isn't just one that reacts well to crises. It might proactively build in things that look inefficient in stable times.
Like what?
Like, say, redundancy. Having backup systems or cross-trained teams seems costly when things are smooth.
But gives you options when things get chaotic, that optionality again.
Exactly. Or fostering a culture where small experiments and, crucially, small failures are okay, even encouraged,
Why failures?
because each small failure provides information. It lets the company learn and pivot much faster than a rigid competitor who's terrified of any mistake. They use volatility as R&D almost. Breaking small things often prevents catastrophic breaks later.
That's a really different way of thinking about risk. Not just minimizing it, but using controlled risk to learn.
Precisely. And think about individual careers, like programmer. New technologies, new languages pop up
All the
constantly.
time, it can feel overwhelming, like you're always trying to catch up. Stressful.
It is a stressor. But the programmer who embraces that, who makes a practice of learning new tools, even the ones that seem challenging,
They become more adaptable.
much more. They become technologically anti-fragile. They see change not as a threat to their existing skills, but as an opportunity to broaden their value. They invest in continuous learning.
Which gives them optionality in a fast-changing job market,
Yeah.
unlike someone clinging to older tech.
Exactly. They're less likely to become obsolete. And this builds into overall career adaptability, too.
How so?
People who deliberately, maybe periodically, change roles, work on different kinds of projects, even switch fields sometimes.
Stepping out of their comfort zone again.
Right. They accumulate this diverse experience. They're not just building skills in one narrow area, they're building the skill of adaptation itself.
So if one industry tanks, they're not stuck. They have transferable skills.
Exactly. They have more resilience, more options. They feel more confident navigating changes in the job market because their path isn't so fragile, so dependent on one thing staying stable.
Okay, this is making so much sense.
Mm.
So what about money?
Yeah.
How does antifragility look in, like, investing?
Well, an anti-fragile financial strategy goes beyond just basic diversification, which is mostly about reducing downside risk, being robust.
Okay.
Anti-fragility here is about structuring things so you can potentially gain from volatility, from the unexpected swings.
Gain from a market crash. How does that work?
It might involve things like holding assets that benefit from chaos, or having strategies like dynamic rebalancing where you actively buy more when prices fall sharply.
So using the dip, the volatility, as an opportunity rather than just hunkering down or panicking.
Exactly. You're positioned not just to survive the uncertainty, but potentially to profit from it, because your strategy anticipates and can leverage that randomness.
Yeah.
It's designed for uncertainty, not just against it.
Wow. Designing for the unknown?
Mm.
That's powerful. And this isn't just for work and money, is it? You mentioned relationships earlier. And creativity.
Absolutely. It permeates so many areas. Think about creative pursuits, like learning to cook something new and complicated.
Oh, yeah. Definitely stressful at first. Lots of potential for disaster. Burnt stuff.
Right. Unfamiliar techniques, timing. It's messy. But what happens each time you tackle something complex in the kitchen?
You get a bit more confident, I guess. You learn how to fix things when they go wrong. You start improvising more.
Exactly. You become culinarily anti-fragile. You stop fearing experiments and actually start enjoying them, benefiting from that creative friction.
Huh. I like that. Culinarily anti-fragile. My kitchen definitely used to be fragile, strictly follow the recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, much more experimental. Better food, too, mostly.
See. And it's the same for artists or writers. Those who deliberately try new styles, new formats, step outside their usual genre.
They're stressing their creative muscles.
In a way, yes. Even the experiments that don't quite work, the ones that feel like failures, They're not wasted.
They're learning experiences, data points.
Exactly. They make the artist more flexible, more inventive, more resourceful. Their overall creative process becomes richer, more adaptive because they've explored more territory. They gain from that perceived disorder.
Okay. And connecting this to maybe the deepest level, relationships, how can a relationship be anti-fragile?
Well, think about couples who face difficulties together, disagreements, external pressures, life-throwing curveballs.
Which happens to everyone eventually.
Right. A fragile relationship might crack under that pressure.
Yeah.
A robust one might endure it stoically. But an anti-fragile one,
It gets stronger.
it can. When the couple navigates those trials, constructively communicating, working through conflict, supporting each other, the process itself can deepen the bond.
So it's not about avoiding conflict at all costs.
No, it's about learning how to engage with it. Building trust, understanding, shared resilience through the challenges. Seeing those difficulties not just as threats, but as opportunities to reinforce the connection, discover shared strengths, adapt together.
Wow. Okay, let's just pause for a second.
Mm.
When you put it all together like that,
Yeah.
from our muscles getting stronger after exercise, to businesses using small failures to innovate, programmers embracing new tech, investors potentially profiting from market swings, even couples strengthening their bond through tough times.
It's all the same underlying principle, isn't it?
It really is. Antifragility. The idea that challenges, stress, uncertainty, they don't have to be just things we endure. They can actually be catalysts for growth, for strength, if we
Yeah.
approach them right.
And that really brings it back to you, the listener. It's worth thinking about, isn't it? Where in your own life could you maybe cultivate a bit more anti-fragility?
Yeah, where are you currently just resisting stress, being robust, or
Mhm.
maybe even feeling a bit fragile, vulnerable to shocks?
And then the important part, how could you maybe pivot? Start introducing small controlled stressors, finding that Goldilocks zone we talked about, to actually start benefiting from the unexpected,
Yeah.
to spark some real growth.
It really changes how you might look at things. So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this.
Mm-hmm.
What if the biggest risks you're trying so hard to avoid today? What if they're actually the very experiences that hold the key to making you undeniably stronger tomorrow?
Something to definitely think about. Embracing that beneficial volatility.
Anti-fragile style. Thanks for exploring that with me today.
My pleasure. It's a powerful concept.